Hello everyone, we are back with another quick library update and a couple of book recommendations. Today Rose is going to start us off by talking to us a little bit about our Community Readers program.
Well, if you haven't had a chance to check out our archived Community Readers videos, click back to our channel after this video and listen to a few. Recently we had a local author, Alex McLennan, read her own story, The Frog Who Wouldn't, which is a charming tale about a frog who wouldn't act like a frog. We have more exciting guests lined up for the coming weeks, including a couple of our friends who are going to do a reading together. Watch our social channels Monday nights at 7 p.m. for a new bedtime story, courtesy of our Community Readers.
That's right. I'm really looking forward to one because one of our Community Readers has recently read Pig the Pug. And for those of you who know pugs, they are very naughty dogs. So this week I am here to talk to you guys about another Riley Sager book called Lock Every Door. I always find genres very interesting, and this is touted as an urban paranoia. So basically that kind of means city-centered with a lot of creepy things sort of happening. So in this book, our main character, Jules, just recently went through a breakup. She's also without a job. So unfortunately, she is alone and broke in the city of New York. She's scanning through the wanted ads, and she finds a need for an apartment sitter at the ritzy Bartholomew building. So everyone who lives here is either rich or famous or both. Jules and the other apartment sitters are often very isolated individuals who are in need of the mega payday that comes with this job. But there are about 3 rules to doing this job. One is you can't have any visitors, you must sleep there at night, and you can't talk to any of the residents. So I don't know about you, but I'm like, why can't I leave? So suspicions are kind of up. These apartment sitters keep going missing, and eventually Jules asks far too many questions of the residents, and then she finds out just how nefarious they are.
Ooh, that's a scary one. Well, I'm on quite a different tact here. I'm reading a very moving and inspirational book called The Salt Path by Raynor Winn. The book's actually a recent donations from one of our patrons, and I saw that and I thought, wow, this looks good. So it revolves around a couple who days after they've lost their home, their livelihood, everything, through no fault of theirs, just some very clever, crooked manipulation, they're faced with the husband's diagnosis of a terminal illness. In despair and being very plucky and British, they feel they have nothing to lose and very little time. So they pack their rucksacks and start out on the journey. The trek is a 630-mile southwest coast path from Somerset to Dorset via Cornwall and Devon. They receive a small monthly government subsidy allowance of £48, barely enough for a subsistence living, and are met, as you can imagine, with the challenges of the sea and nature. And they're camping. They've got 2 rucksacks and their tent and very little else. They're dragging themselves along dramatic landscape, being eyed very suspiciously sometimes as homeless vagrants by some of the villagers, and sometimes being met with some kindness or the odd beer at a pub. However, when you're 50, facing damp nights and rainy days, it's a struggle. The book starts with a very redemptive scene. You can imagine they're caught in a tidal wave that swamps their tents, their sleeping bags, and themselves. And as they struggle to pick everything up, all soaked, she realizes that Moth, the husband, has regained some of his strength and vigor, and they're able to meet that challenge. Things haven't really been going well. They have nothing. And they happen to meet up with a lady who takes them in for a coffee in a cafe. They tell her the story of their homelessness, which they haven't been too readily divulging because people eye them suspiciously. But she listens to the story, she opens her heart to them, and offers them an apartment to live that she's just on the point of listing. And because Moth, the husband, is thinking of going back to university, they're going to have a student subsidy. And she says, that'll be fine. And so then all of a sudden, when they thought nothing was going right, the world opened up and life goes on.
What a nice book. That sounds great. So that's all we have for you guys this week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
We want to thank you guys for participating in another one of our virtual programs. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.